I'm just going to do a little talk today just on showing you how to correctly rig a soft plastic lure to a jig head, and I'll do two sorts. One's a paddle tail and the other one's a curl tail. So I'll do the paddle tail first. I'll just come a bit closer so you can see quite well. Now with the lure, all Bozo's lures have an eye on it, and the eye is super important. Bozo's jig heads also have an eye on them, but if you're using a lure, a jig head, sorry, that hasn't got an eye on it, make sure you leave the eye on the actual soft plastic itself. The first thing that I do, this lure has got a very thin tail to give it a lot of action. So when you're fitting any jig head, no matter what sort it is, you want to make sure that the hook doesn't interfere with the action of this tail, because this is what will really catch the fish. And you can see that's extremely thin on this lure. The first thing I do is put the lure against the jig head and just see where the hook's going to come out. Now what I want to do is try and get the hook coming as close to the back where that tail is, but not obviously go into the tail. So you can see it's about there, and I can see that the hook will come out there. So just mark it where it's going to come out, just with a little prick like that, and you'll be able to see that when you fit it. Now the next thing that I do is I'll always make sure that I cut the lure to the correct size. It is so important to trim the lure, and ideally you want this, when it's finished, to look like an actual fish. So here it's just about through the middle of the eye. So what I'll actually do is take the eyes off, and then what I'll do, I'll just cut straight through there. Just cut that off. Now, even if you sit that up against it, you'll see that that makes a pretty good sort of fit, and that's really, really important, because that profile is the fish profile, and that's what the predator fish are going to look for in particular. So the first thing you do in doing this is just slide the hook in the middle, straight down. Now most lures will have a mould mark running down the centre, so it's really important that you keep the hook in the centre of the lure. All I do now is turn the lure sideways and just roll it gently over. You can use your thumb and finger and you can feel it coming around. Once I get to about there round the curve, flip it back over, and then what I do is actually push it, and I'll just get that hook point to come out at the back where that little hole is, and just pierce that through like that. Then literally all you have to do then is just roll that around and then just push that up onto the jig head. And there's your lure all rigged, everything's straight, the profile is exactly as a fish is. So that's doing a mullet. When you come to do a curl tail, Bozo's has these curl tail grubs, and there's a lot of lures with a curl tail. It doesn't matter if the tail goes up or the tail goes down. This will swim right out like that and just paddles like a little bait fish. Once again though, I want to keep the hook a fair way back, not so it interferes with the tail. Bozo's are actually cut on these to size, and usually that's about the distance from the back that I'd like it to come out. So once again, just in the middle, just roll it around, use your thumb, just roll it around, and again, keeping the lure, there's always a mould mark down through the centre down there, or there might be a colour mark in the paint, in which this one has both. Just make sure you do bring the hook out so it's right on that middle of the lure. Roll it around, push it up, and there you are. That's all set to go to catch a fish. So I hope that's helped you a bit. If you want to know anything at all and any questions, please go to www.bozosfishing.com. There's a contact on there for me, and by all means please just ask me for whatever you want to know about fishing, and I'll try and give you the answers. If I don't know the answers, I'll try and find out for you, but what I always want to do is try and be able to talk directly to you about anything to do with fishing. Thanks very much indeed, and I hope you look forward to our next video on YouTube. Thank you.